Right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good one. Today we're tying a little bait fish pattern. I use this predominantly around estuaries for kahawai, but I figure it's a handy one for anywhere you got predatory fish feeding on little minnows or bait fish, smelt, whatever. It's tied using boom dubbing from Semperfli. It's a really cool material, really long strands of material, really fine, plenty of flash through it, so there's heaps of movement, heaps of sparkle. Really impart some life into a little pattern like this. In the middle of it, underneath just a bit of a core, I've got some pearl flat braid, which as you can see also has a bit of sparkle there too. Usually I just fish this through estuaries or anywhere like that, estuaries, river mouths, stuff like that, but you can scale it up, scale it down. I am already tying it pretty small, but whatever you see fit. I'm tying on a TMC 811S saltwater hook and a size 8 for this one, but again, size it up if you want, go down smaller if you need to. And we're using the fish belly or white dubbing for the bottom and blue cheese for the top. And then just some eyes on there as well. But we'll crack into it, see how we go. Hope you enjoy it and hope it's a handy pattern. Cheers, happy time. Right, for our thread we're using Semperfli Nano silk in the 50 denier with 12 volt in white. Could use 6 aught if you want, which is the next size up. But I like the 50. I'd probably use something bigger if I was tying on a bigger hook. But we're just going to get that thread base down. And just get built in there until we just get to the start of that curve of the hook. And take your scissors and just trim away that little tag bit, tag end. Right, for the tail segment, so just take a small pinch of the fibres of the boom dubbing. It's really long, so this is actually cut in half. And then I'll just take the little section where I've cut it and just try to taper it out a bit. Might pull a few errant strands out, but for the most part it all stays in there and just gets tweaked and pulled until it's kind of forms more of a taper. And for the length, I want it roughly about the same length as the shank of the hook. And we're just going to tie that in on top. Let's get it nice and secured in there. Just wrap it in. Get rid of that. And then we'll move on to the flat braid for the core of it. Alright, the flat braid. It's got a nice little sparkle to it. Just a little bit of colour through the core. You could skip this if you wanted to. I find it gives it a nice little flash. You could use ice dubbing. You could use more boom dubbing if you wanted to, but I quite like this. We just secure it on top up until when we want to tie it in. And the other thing I haven't mentioned, the tail looks a bit scruffy now, but once we've got the other materials in, we're actually going to brush it a bit, which will help it retain some shape and look a bit nicer. But we'll just wrap this up the body. And one more. There we go. Happy with that. And just secure that in. A few wraps. I like to go in behind it and in front of it, which really locks it in. And just trim away that tag end. Cool. And we'll move on to the rest of the body. Right, as with the tail, I've got my little clump of boom dubbing here. This one's in blue cheese colour, which I think is a great little colour for bait fish. I've just trimmed it down to size a little bit, probably about half again, and a little bit more. Now what we're going to do, we're going to tie it on top. We're going to have a whole lot facing forward, which goes a little bit off screen there, but we're going to push all that back towards the end. But you just want to make sure it's sitting on top. Just like that. And you can just spread it around. Actually, I'll probably put one too many there. Let me just spread it a little. And then we're going to go on to our underbelly. Right, we're using that white or fish belly for the bottom of it, the belly. And again, just done the same thing with that dubbing again. It's just a little bit. You want it the same size, and then just pull it in underneath and just secure it on there. Now this is going to help give it some volume, this stuff on the back. And then what we're going to do with this stuff here, we're just going to coax it back over the thread. Just keep pulling it because it's such a fine dubbing, it actually moves back over it really well. And it's just going to help create the body. And we'll just secure that in, the little head there. There we go. We'll just tie that off. Right, quick little whip finish here. And then I'll go into brushing it out and trimming it up and all that good stuff. And putting on some eyes. But that is the last we need of our tying thread. Hopefully this reflects well in the video and makes sense, but it's a handy little tool here from Stonfo. Got Velcro on one end, a comb on the other end. I'm just going to run it through. It's just going to start pulling out any knots in it, get it to really take the shape and pull out any loose fibres that don't need to be there. I'll probably also often take to them with some scissors as well. You can say it really sort of has taken more of the shape there. And it's a bit hard to tell with the lighting and stuff, but it really has a nice translucency when you get it nice and wet. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Just give it a little bit more. Another option, just for demonstration's purpose, but the Velcro also works quite well for just pulling away any loose fibres that don't need to be in there. But next up we'll move on to them eyes. Right, time for the eyes. Probably one of the things I least enjoy doing with fly tying, but must be done. So I'll just take a little drop of the UV resin and put it on there. I'm just using these little silver hollow eyes. I'll just take it and slide it into place. And I like them so that the front of it's just bumping up against the start of the eye there, or where you've just started tying in the tying thread. I'm just trying to get it right. Usually I get a different angle on it when I'm tying them in or gluing them in. There you go, it looks about right. That's just to hold it in for now. Now we're going to put a bit more resin in there by the time this is done. Then we'll also put one on my side. It's a little bit laborious at times, but you know, whatever you're into or like doing, it's up to you, but it needs to be done. It's food for thought, quicker way, and I often use the old synthetic jungle cock ties as well in the smaller sizes. Another one from Semperfli worth having a look into. There's a lot of people who are more on the purist end who think using anything other than your real stuff is sacrilege, but it's a saltwater pattern and I think they work well. I don't think you lose anything by using them, and fish seem to still like them. Alright, and just get that eye on there. Just trying to make sure it's as in line with the other one as you can. And we'll just give that a zap to hold it in place. Both sides. That light will shine right through it and cure either side of it, but we're going to fill that in anyway. Right, last but not least, we're just going to fill in the gap between the eyes. For this reason, I only do one whip finish because it's going to be covered in this stuff anyway, which will hold it up. I know some people like to get their UV resin and just dollop in there, but I prefer to use a Balkan. Just of note, I'm using the No-Tack UV resin. It's a thin one from Semperfli. But I just use the Balkan. I just find you have a bit more control. We'll just dollop it in there. Just like to fill in that gap between the eyes and coat it back into the head. It just builds up a nice little profile on it. And holds the eyes in a bit more as well. And just give that a zap. Make sure your torch is freshly charged. Make your life a bit easier. There you go. Looks a bit funny there, but I've had to set it up how I could to accommodate the camera and filming. I just want to fill in the bottom as well. Just be careful not to get any in that the hook eye. But you're just going to fill in that gap down the bottom as well. Normally I just rotate the vise to get it done, but the way I have my camera set up, it's more trouble than it's worth just to show you that part. But once you've got your resin in there, hit it with your torch. Just for a short time. And then we can have a look at the finished pattern. Here we go. Little bait fish. Right, there we have it. One little bait fish tied with boom dubbing from Semperfli. I really like these. They're small. That dubbing has heaps of movement and heaps of sparkle to it. Mostly I use it for kahawai, which are a cool fish here in New Zealand. I'll put a few photos in the video if you're not familiar with them, but there aren't many Kiwi fishermen who aren't aware of them. Whether you're fly fishing, surf casting, spinning, whatever, they're a cool fish. But you could use it for many other fish as well. I think change the colours around. It's got translucency, movement, sparkle. There's a lot of what you want. Again, we've got the white boom dubbing or fish belly boom dubbing, the blue cheese on top. I've used olives and purple, which look really cool as well. A little silver holographic eye, pearl flat tinsel in the middle, and it's tied on a TMC 811S saltwater hook, and using the white Nano silk to tie it all in. I hope it's a handy video for you. I hope you enjoy the pattern. I hope it works well for you. Cheers, see you next time. Happy tying.